All right. Well, welcome to Twitchy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Twitchy. This is Twitchy, our podcast where we talk about streamer things and queer women things and stuff like that. I'm Trauma Queenie 32, and then we also have Marvelous. And today, our special guest is none other than my beautiful wife, VallyCatt. Hello, yay!
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Vally, welcome to the pod. Do you want to introduce yourself to us?
I don't know. I'm VallyCatt. What do I say? Like, I'm a streamer. I'm a variety streamer, and I usually do horror because I feel like people really enjoy watching me cry. Because
Do you like horror?
I love horror, actually. I always wanted to be in like the horror universe, but I could never watch a horror movie because I have a really hard time like differentiating between like what's the movie and what's real life after I get done. Like the whole I need to watch a cartoon after to feel better, but except for like a whole week after. And so when I found horror games, it became easier because I could control it. Like I had an element of control in the horror. So
yeah, if you need to just sit in a corner and cry for an hour or two, that's an option.
It is, and that's what I love about it.
That's awesome. Well, your community sounds like there's some bitches because they like to see you cry.
Yeah.
But other than that, just kidding.
If your community isn't trolling you, is it really your community?
Honestly,
that's
so
what I'm
true.
saying. And if your biggest trolls aren't your mods, then are they really your mods?
There's a meme that I always think about when people talk about being a moderator and stuff. And it's like two stick figure line art drawings, and one's like a person standing up and they're holding a leash, and then the thing on the leash is a person that's like crouching on all fours. And it's labeled like streamers, the person standing up, and then their mods is like got this menacing look on their face.
Character. Yeah.
Oh my god. So good. And I'm like,
I love it.
Star Trek. It's so accurate. All right, Valley. Well, I do have some questions that I prepared. And the first one I feel like is it's a Twitchy question now. It's just what we ask all of our people. It's a staple. The first one is, what is your name and how did you get it?
Okay, my name is VallyCatt, and I got it in high school because in high school I think I only had 11 cats at the time. But that was still a lot of cats. Only. What
are you gonna do? So quirky with 11 cats.
So it kind of was just like a mixture of like my government name with cat on the end. And then so I made it my first Instagram name, has been the only Instagram name I've ever had. And someone stole VallyCatt with 1 T. So I know. So I had to do it with 2 T's. So now it just looks weird without 2 T's. So it's VallyCatt with 2 T's.
2 T's. Love it.
It's a very important distinction.
It's so true. At least you don't have to put like an underscore. There's like
come for my game. Marvelous, the way I spell it was taken one word.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hateful.
But I feel like it makes sense for you because it's like Marv-a-less, like your first name is, but
first
there's like
Marv, last name Aless.
Or like It's awesome. Me Holly it was 2 Y's for a long time, and then after she got partnered, she moved it. But there's somebody I know that has like their name and then it's like 2 underscores after it because so many variations of their name was taken. I was like, well,
I know someone that uses a lowercase L instead of an uppercase I, and it confuses everybody. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, instead of the I, it's just an L.
We actually did that. Fudge made it. So Fudge and I were both moderators for Kill Cannon for a long time. And we made a spoof on his name. So he spells it K-I-L, then Cannon. And so Fudge made an account that was K, lowercase I, capital I. So it looked the same. And he like went into chat one day and then like immediately got banned. And we were like, wait, no, it's fine. It's good. Oh, speaking of cats, hello, cats.
A baby.
Hello.
Are you the first T or the second T? Which one represents you? I'm just kidding.
This is the first T. His name is Tippy.
Oh, Tippy, hello.
Because look at his tail. It's a little white tip. So, we
Aw,
got really
that's
creative with the names.
cute.
He's just a little guy. He's so tiny.
He's just a little guy.
He's
I
so
love
tiny.
that.
I know, guy.
Hi, pretty green eyes.
Y'all have all these cats, and I'm just like, I want a cat so bad.
Mine is kind of
Get one.
hateful.
What's
I
your
saw
cat's
that.
name?
Nice.
Marv, what's your cat's name?
This is Cardi because she's a diva and she came with that name and we kept it because she has a diva persona. And then we have Sprinky, who is named after a drag queen, and he's just kind of a
Frankie's
goober.
such a cute name.
That is
Yeah,
so cute.
He's a goober cat. He needed a goober name, so he's Sprinky.
Izzy's
love
in her
that.
bed, and I would move her, but she would hate me for the rest of her life. So
Izzy is a queen.
she's a queen. Yeah, she's
She
a
is.
diva for sure. In her heated dog bed.
Oh.
Oh,
All right. So the next question I have is, where are you from? But if you don't have to dox yourself, but addresses are preferred. I'm just kidding.
okay, so it's 3-4. I'm just kidding. It's I'm from. Well, my past is kind of like jumbled. I kind of like spent a lot of time in Georgia, but originally, I guess like technically, I'm from Wichita, Kansas,
Big Slay.
which is like so cool.
As somebody who's from Omaha, Nebraska, well, not from there, but I lived there for a long time.
hmm
I see you. I recognize
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah.
You got the
Yeah, and
Midwest.
Wichita was huge too, and there was so much to do. And I was a mall goth growing up, so it was just like
Slay.
I don't know, it was fun. Sneaking into the
Big
movie theater
slay.
in the mall and stuff. Allegedly, I would never do that though.
Okay, my next question that I have is, what is your coming out story?
Ooh, my coming out story was I mean, it wasn't as dramatic as I would expect it to be. I went to Christian schools growing up, like private Christian schools and all kinds of stuff. So, and I knew from like very, very young, like very, very young, one of my first crushes was a girl that because my mom ran a daycare out of our home. And we would like sneak off and like smooch each other. And it was like very like adorable and whatever. So I've known since I was like very young, but when I was 13, I met this girl named Morgan at at a pool, I think. And she was like, I'm bisexual. And I was like, I think I am too, so that's pretty cool. And she was like, cool, then be my girlfriend. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll be your girlfriend. That was my first girlfriend. And so that's when I told my mom. But when I really, really came out, I think I was 16. I had I had just dropped out of high school. I, was kind of like doing this whole find myself thing. I was going to culinary school. And I like posted on Facebook just randomly one day, which is like something I do all the time. I just out of nowhere, I'm just like, I think this is a great time to make a life-changing decision. So I made a life-changing decision and I posted it, and it was close to Christmas time, so it was in the middle of winter. And my mom and my ex-partner and I were all at Walmart, and my mom gets a call, and she was like, hello? And it was my aunt, and my aunt was just going off on my mom about how
Oh my
like she can't
gosh.
believe that I'm bisexual and that like it's gonna ruin my life and all this stuff. And I remember being so upset that I just walked off in the middle of winter. I walked outside. I just kept walking until eventually I found like a park and I just sat down, and it was nighttime, and I just kind of sat there for a little bit, and I was so upset. I felt like if you asked me 5 years ago how I felt, I'd probably say angry, but now I think I was just so sad. Like I felt so betrayed because, I've never had my family, hate me like that before. So it was such a new feeling. And eventually my mom found me, and she was just driving around all frantically, and she found me, and I remember her like my cheeks were bleeding a little bit because like I was crying and they were just kind of like freezing on my face, and she just kind of like put her hands on my cheeks and she goes, I love you no matter what. And that's all I can remember, honestly. But it's I might cry.
No, don't cry, wife.
Don't cry. No, we're not crying.
I like how you were like, I don't think it was very dramatic. And then you're like, I was in a park that I walked to by myself in the dark and my cheeks were bleeding. Like, somebody make that a Lifetime movie.
Oh my God.
I love Lifetime movies, like genuinely though. Genuinely,
Yeah,
I use them as like a inspiration for my Sims, like backstories. You know what I mean? Like Hallmark movies too. Ugh, love 'em.
Are you and your mom still close?
Yeah, actually, we bought a house together, and it's a split level duplex. So I have like my own apartment down here, and they're upstairs, and it's super nice. So we have fun. My mom's so we're super close. I love my mom.
good. I'm so glad. I came out to myself and to like my partner in 2020, but then and I'm pretty estranged from both of my parents.
Mhm.
But I came out to my dad. I saw him in January, and I was like, we'd spent a couple days together, and I was just like, as we're getting in the car to drive to the airport, I was like, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm queer. And he was like, I've come to realize that my job is to love you, not to, I can't remember, not to judge you, is what he said. Job's to love you, not to judge you. And I was like, that's really nice. And then I was like, yeah, and if you're ever in Seattle, like let us know. Like a lot of our friends are drag queens. And he literally goes like this. He goes, well, you know what? And
So
Dan goes, and Dan goes, you better work. It's so funny.
that made me cry. Oh my God.
It was funny, but just like my dad, who's like in his 50s, like, we're in the middle of like Bumfuck, Idaho. It's in the middle of nowhere.
I
And
love
he
it.
just is like,
I love
you
it.
better work.
Slay.
Well, I'm glad that you had that support from your mom. And like
Mm.
not having that support from like your large, like your extended family is it can be so upsetting and devastating.
Yeah, yeah, and like I feel like from the beginning I was kind of like born to be a black sheep. Like growing up in the community that I did, that was very Christian and everything. It was I kind of like always found trouble. Like it was just my thing. So a lot of my family just didn't anyways. Like they just did not
Yeah.
want anything to do with me, you know. So and I kind of grew up knowing that. So, for one of the family members that I thought was like okay with me to do that was like bad. And we've spoken since. And there's no like animosity there anymore. It's just that like there's things that I'll never forget what people do and say, right? And I think it's important, you know, as queer people to like forgiveness is great, but also like for protection sometimes it's nice to, you know, keep yourself in that number one spot and remember because sometimes people just oh, you know, just not cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like I grew up in a really religious setting as well, and there were
Mhm.
so many times where they say like you turn the other cheek, or like you forgive and forget and all
Mhm.
of that. And I'm like, but there's certain things though where like in this situation it does come down to protect, like literally not only just like protecting your mental health, which is super important and everybody
Mhm.
should do that, but even like your physical safety. Like sometimes
Yeah,
people, they don't understand that like that is often what's at risk for
a thousand
queer
percent.
people, But
Yeah, and that's like probably one of my most controversial takes ever is that like I don't think forgiveness is necessary every time. You know, like it's
or I feel like forgiveness, like
Forgive, don't forget.
I
But
think
also,
forgive,
don't forgive all the time.
I feel like maybe that this is a hot take, but like I think you can be conditional with your forgiveness. But
Mhm.
I also think that like just because you forgive somebody for what they've done in the past doesn't mean that you will allow yourself to be put in a position to be hurt like that again, which I
Exactly.
think is sometimes what people mean is like forgive and forget, like pretend nothing ever happened and move on with your life. And it's like, well, I can move on with my life, but like still protect myself from
Yeah.
having this going through this again. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
But, Marv, do you have any family that hates you?
Absolutely, I do. I mean, growing up in the South, you're no stranger to protecting yourself with who you come out with. So unfortunately, I am not out to my parents. I'm kind of the opposite. I have an aunt who is supportive of me and knows that I'm out. My brother does. So a couple of other extended family and then friends, but not out to my parents for safety reasons and because I have a younger sister still at home that I'd like to keep in contact with while she's still a minor. So right now, my parents are in the dark for a lot of aspects of my life, including my sexuality, but that's just unfortunately part of the environment of growing up where I am. So
I'm so sorry.
it's just it's something you learn.
Yeah.
And it's conversation I've had with other queer people here is as much as you want to have pride and
Right.
be your most authentic self, sometimes it's just not in your best interest for your safety.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And like I used to feel really bad for like when I would hear stories like that, I used to feel really bad for the person, which I do. Like it sucks that you have to like deal with that. But the people that I've started feeling even sadder for are like the parents. Because I'm like, you're missing out on such a cool and interesting, artistic, incredible, inspiring side of this person that you claim to love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's so it's sad to like, could you imagine going your whole life like you have this kid and you're like, my kid's the fucking bomb, and then like you find out in your 70s that your kid has felt so scared to tell you something that they've literally been hiding a huge part of themselves for you for their entire life. Like that's so sad. It's so sad that you think that you know this your child as much as you think you do, and then like it turns out there's this huge aspect of their life that you're missing out on.
Yeah. It does suck. I mean, because I love my parents and I know that they love me, but I just know that unfortunately, I don't always like my parents and I don't like a lot of the choices they make, even though I do love them. And I know that they love me, but I also know that they're just, I don't even like saying set in your ways because I think that is such a crutch and such a give up. I just don't think sometimes they're, people aren't perfect and people make mistakes and sometimes people aren't just good people all the time, which sucks because it does suck that I feel like I'm doing really cool things in my life and cool stuff with my drag is happening and like fun stuff with that, but I just can't, I'm not in a point in my relationship with my parents where I can share that and feel safe and feel like I can still have access to my sister.
Yeah, that's
which
really
sucks.
I'm sorry that's something you have to go through.
Well, that's why it's so important to find chosen family and communities elsewhere.
1,000%.
I have different levels of support systems from different people all over, so that's just how I cope.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I've like always really loved the Lilo and Stitch. I don't know if you've noticed. I have a little Stitch in my background. I'll narrate. I have a little Stitch in my background that you can't see in the overlay, but
I love it.
yeah, and I want to get a Stitch tattoo, but even from the time I was a child, like just I feel like a lot of people say Ohana means family and that's like their favorite line. I do really like that line, but my favorite is at the end of the movie when the emperor lady is like trying to take him back to space and then like Nani and Lilo are running out of the woods and they're like, no, you can't take him, and the empress is like, who the hell are these people? And Stitch is like all handcuffed and he's like, this is my family, I found them all on my own. It's little and broken but good, still good. Like that's how I feel about like my queer family. Like honestly, to be honest, if we're being honest,
we're being honest on the pod.
Honestly,
OBTBH.
Hot takes and honesty here. That's what we provide. But like we're all a little fucked up. Like we've got these things in our past, or like these aspects of us that are not ideal. But like we have this little queer family, and like even just like the camaraderie. Like, so my partner, he travels a lot for work, and he has an Apple Watch band that's Pride. It's got rainbows on it, and there have been so many times where somebody will like come out to him, or like just make a nod in his general direction of like, oh, I like your wristband, you know. Or they'll like mention in their talkings and their conversation like them and their like him and his spouse, or stuff like that. And it's those little things that like that, like, to me, that's what the queer community is. Like you see those little things, and even if you don't say like, oh my god, I noticed your rainbow, are you gay? I'm gay. It's just those little things that make the like conversation a little bit more relaxed and stuff that I just chef's kiss, I love. But anyway, enough about the sad. I do have my next question, which is, how did you find Twitch?
TikTok, actually.
Oh, big
Believe
slay.
it or not, I like 2021, I was scrolling through TikTok, and this is where like saying that like I wanted to be in the horror universe a little bit, like get my fingers in there, you know, but like not knowing how. This is how that comes into play, because I was scrolling through TikTok. I come across this wonderful streamer whose name is Leash Capiche. If you don't know who she is, she's great. She was playing like some horror game, and I totally forget what, but it was horrifying. And I saw a clip, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually hilarious. And before that, I really didn't play video games. I didn't do much in the video game world. It wasn't really my thing. Or so I thought. And so and then so so I went to Twitch, I found her, I followed. She said my name. She said, "Thanks for the follow," and I shit myself. I was like, "They said your name here? Are you kidding me?" So
you can see me.
You know what the hell? So anyways, I watched her for a little bit, but she wasn't playing like a lot of horror games. She started playing Fortnite, and I was like, oh, Slay, cool. But then I also I ran into I wanted to watch the game that she was playing. So I went on YouTube and I looked up her playthrough and I watched it, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And then in the recommended was Gab Smolders playing the same game. So I was like, oh, Slay, I'm gonna watch that. And then in the recommended of that was Insim playing Phasmo. So I found Insim on Twitch, and then from Insim I found Hey Girl, and then yeah,
Hey Girl. We tag Hey Girl in the description.
We tag.
I text him, say hello. You won't believe the shit that Valley said on our podcast. Just
like one of the first communities that I like went into like fully, and it was a good time. Like the first chat I ever chatted in was Hey Girls. It was pretty cool.
I love
cool
that.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you don't want to bring this up, but I'm gonna bring it up because I think it's a full circle moment.
Oh, please.
So that was like 2021, right? When you found Hey Girl, and then you started streaming. How long have you been streaming?
Since September of 2022.
Oh wow, not very long.
Yeah, I'm brand new. I'm a
baby. My wife said, I'm not gonna say that.
Don't say that.
I'm not gonna say that. Jesus.
I love my wife.
I love my wife who is an adult. My adult wife that is of the legal age.
This is gonna be fun to edit later.
Oh my gosh. But I always look in your chat, even if I don't chat in the chat. But Hey Girl recently rated you like last week, which I just think is so the circle of love, the circle of life.
Oh my gosh! Can I just talk about that raid for a second? Like just 2 seconds. I was so embarrassed because the whole time my camera was just like so delayed and nobody told me. So because of that raid, I'm so appreciative. Just in general for it, but also it inspired me to get. It kind of lit a fire under my ass, and I got a second monitor so I can make sure that I'm not glitching and like delayed. But yeah. I was like super excited, and then I watched my VOD, and I was like, "Oh my god,
Oh
oh
no.
no!" But
Oh
it
my gosh.
happens.
Yeah,
It's
those
just
technical
something that happens.
difficulties, they really suck. I
They
like
seem to love me.
I was doing a big stream a couple weeks ago and
Mhm.
somebody came in and they gifted some biddies and I have like special alerts that play through Mix It Up
Uh-huh.
bot. And they didn't play. And I was like, you just gifted so many bits. And then 30 minutes, it was a whole thing. 30 minutes
Ugh.
of troubleshooting later, couldn't figure it out. It was a whole big thing. I was really upset.
I think any stream is successful as long as you have maybe like under 5 technical difficulties, and then I'd say anything between 5 and 10 is normal.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
that weight lifted, absolutely lifted. And I'm gonna
Big
keep that in my
slay.
brain now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of which, what is a stream moment that you're proud of?
Oh, goodness gracious.
The terror that crossed your face just now?
It's it's hard to talk about what you're proud of when you
Yeah, it's true.
you know? I don't know, I think that one of the biggest things I'm proud of, honestly, it's not really like an in-stream moment, just like I'm really proud of like the community that I've found. I have some of the coolest people. No, not some. I have the coolest people in my community and I love them so much. And the fact that they show up every time I go live to say hi, even just to say hi or if they're lurking, it means the world to me. So I'm really proud that I've made such a good friendship. I've made good friendships. And it just I don't know. I love my community. I
I
really
love
do.
that too. Yeah. I love your community.
Thank
They're
you.
like I feel like there's a wide variety of communities that can be had, you know.
Mhm.
But I love your community because they're such hype people. You know, like you do one thing and it's like the chat floods with like, let's fucking go, you know. And I like it's like it's like big things like getting a victory royale in Fortnite, but then also like you landed on the jump mushroom and you didn't die. Let's go. You know, like it's just so funny.
They're great people. They really are. I'm very proud to call them my friends, for sure.
I think you mentioned it on stream a couple of times.
Mhm.
But one thing that I think is really cool and unique about your community is how open you are about having autism.
Mhm.
And I think that's so cool and like so important. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's really important for people to I don't know, see an autistic person exist, in different ways. There's always been kind of this stigma around autism that like we're not social or, a lot of things like that. I would love for people to see how oh goodness, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, it's just like people with autism are so much more than just autism. So it's
Yeah.
nice to show people that like, hey, I am also a human and you totally can treat me like one. So I don't know. It's nice and
Basic
it's
human
it's
kindness, who would have thought?
exactly. And it's almost like in a safer way too, since it's over the internet. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it feels like it has less risk than in person. And I don't know. I really enjoy it. I haven't had one person be nasty to me about it, and in reality, a lot of people have actually like opened up to me about like whatever kind of neurodivergency they struggle with, and I like it. I like to be able to listen to people and hear them
Well, I think
and
it's
also help
important
them
too
feel
for people to
comfortable.
see that authenticity and
Yeah,
see somebody.
exactly. It's nice. I don't know. It's just going back to like how great my community is and how much I love them, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I it's something that I really appreciate because like I am a nurse, so I went to nursing school and in nursing school, like you learn about it, but a lot of the things that we learn in nursing school, it's like the like the hard scientific evidence, of
Yeah.
things where like we learn like the chromosomes behind it. We learned like
Right.
what it and like risk factors and other things like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really until like because of all of like the more like objective fact that I knew about autism, like it kind of painted a picture in my head of like what an autistic person is or a person with autism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it was like through Twitch where I started finding people and they're like, oh yeah, I have autism. And like I started connecting with them and then learning more about the community, like that community specifically,
Yeah.
and all of that. It's really interesting, and there's like, yeah,
it's expansive and oh, sorry.
No, you got it.
I was just gonna say that it also like my little sister is also autistic, and hers is a little more severe than mine, and one of the reasons that I've found, I didn't start streaming for this reason, but one of the reasons I've found to keep motivating me is to
Oh my god.
No cry.
I want her to know, because like existing around her and being around her and like hearing what she has to say, I really want her to know that like she's totally allowed to make friends, and like it's easy, and there's so many people that are gonna love her, even though, you know, because she's kind of been, you know, told and shown that like this is kind of like the end for her, you know, like, and she's only 12, so she's small, and for a kid to think that, you know, she's not gonna have friends or anything like that because she's autistic, I want her to know that if I can do it, she can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I think that's so important to be a role model for people who just breaking down the stigma behind autism, because one, it's already hard enough to be a woman just in general, but women get so misdiagnosed constantly, especially with autism, and it's so different in women in different ways, and diagnosis for autism in women just constantly get undermined or thrown under the table. So that's why it's so important to just be so authentic. And I think that's really cool that you do that with your community and for your sister.
All of us have younger siblings that we like we are living our lives and like doing things in our lives so that they can have somebody in their life that we needed when we were their age, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is like, it's cool because like we know, I feel like growing up, I was always told like, you listen to your parents because they know what's best, or your parents know you better than you do. You know, your parents know what's best for you and blah, blah, blah. But it's like growing up, that wasn't true for me. And now that like I get to see my sibling grow up, and I get to be part of their life, like I do get to be the person that they needed. Like I get to know them and understand them in a way that like your parents just like can't. And that's not like in this case, I think our parents have unique faults that make them, you know, that could put them in the category of like maybe not the best type of parent, but generally speaking, I think your parents are just humans, and humans aren't perfect, and they make mistakes, and I think something that I'm rambling now, but something that I think I've learned as an adult or realized as an adult is that sometimes people hurt you non-intentionally. Like, and that type of hurt doesn't necessarily hurt any less, but like, you know, like considering that it's unintentional can kind of change how I look at it or how I react to it, you know? Because in my mind, are you crying?
We're getting profound on the
Oh no!
Also, like,
I'm next.
No, because
today's
like
my
an emotional pod.
Today's my mom's
it kind of
birthday, and it's we have a hard relationship, and it's it's getting profound on the pod today.
Big hugs to you, Marv.
Big hugs.
No. I that was profound, Queenie. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
My cat got his head stuck in my monitor. By the way, if that makes you happy.
You can do it. Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I think it doesn't always, like, hurt is hurt, even if it's not
Right.
intentional.
Mhm.
But sometimes realizing that it is not intentional can kind of change how I react to it, you know?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, totally.
But
Sometimes, I mean, it reminds me of the way that I apologize sometimes because I catch myself. I don't know if you guys catch yourself being like, "Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." But it's
Yeah.
like, but the impact though is what matters. Like the impact matters over intention, right? For most of the
absolutely.
time. Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's one of those things where like you as a person get to decide back like circling back to the forgiveness thing, you know, whether you soften a little bit or not, for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, if something isn't intentional, sometimes I think that is a good opportunity for, like, education and growth, you know?
For sure.
But,
Sorry, that
you know.
sounded so unserious for something serious.
For sure.
No, you're good. For sure.
For sure.
I say slay a lot in serious conversations.
Oh, I
so.
say my Instagram bio is literally I say slay too much.
I
So,
noticed that
slay.
actually yesterday or today. I say it so
It's a good
much,
bio.
and I even do like this is my little slay.
Oh, I'm not that.
You know, slay. Or recently I've started saying big slay.
What are you
Huge.
doing?
Big slay.
Big
Big
Huge
slay.
Huge.
My cat is playing with my lipstick. Big slay.
Big slay. Or Marv today we were texting and Marv goes slay mania. And I loved it. I was like,
Can I please use that? Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
We're trying to get that to catch on here. Slaymania.
Yeah,
I got
gonna
you.
be the new fetch.
I got you.
It's gonna be the new fetch.
My best friend who does my wigs, he's bringing that to town. Slaymania.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
Is that your drag
Slaymania.
mom, or is this?
It's my drag
something
mom's
else?
boyfriend. Yeah.
Aw, cute.
Slaymania.
Okay. Speaking of, my people will reach out. My people will contact your people. Actually, I should just tell you now because I'm a dum and I forget things. But I want to do you for my.
Remember?
I want to do.
You want to what?
I
We're
need to
getting
go,
profound
actually.
on the podcast. What do you want to do? Me?
I would like to do an episode of my YouTube thing around you, but I want to do.
You're gonna do my makeup?
Yeah,
I would die, Queenie. I would
don't
cry.
die.
Yeah.
But I want to get like because your purple wig. I feel like there are so many wigs that are so like iconically you that I would like to commission the person who did them to do one for me too.
Here's some of them. That's my purple one right now. I love my purple one.
I can't see.
Oh, right. Different camera for different podcasts. Sorry.
No, you're good. That pink one is so cute. And the purple one, your new pictures, y'all, if you are not looking at Marv's Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, you're missing the fuck out. Like,
I did get professional photos done, thank you.
And they look so fucking good.
Thank you. They cost me an arm and a leg.
Okay, that concludes all of my like hard hitting questions for today. The rest of them are more funny. Okay.
This is where we get unhinged.
It's very true. We asked this one to Polygon Princess, and it was probably my favorite question that we asked her. Mm-hmm. It was, how would you change your life today if the average life expectancy was 400 years?
You said this wasn't hard hitting, but I might say something that hits hard. I'm gonna be honest, I would slow down. I feel like I feel rushed all the time, and I shouldn't. I should just slow down now anyways, but I would slow the fuck down. Because
that's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just not take it as serious as I am, and maybe all this like weight that I put on myself for no reason can just go away. But also, another thing that I would do is probably wear sunscreen a little bit more regularly because I don't want to be crusty.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
wondered, what would we look like at 400? Are we gonna look like the
Yeah,
chocolate
right?
lady from SpongeBob, or are we gonna like?
Chocolate. Sorry.
Because I will
No.
invest in skincare if that's the case.
I buy all of the retinol.
Oh,
I feel like years now to 350, you look like you do in your 20s. Like we just are so slay this whole time.
Oh, okay.
But from the day you turn 351, you become like the nun in the nun.
wait, who in the nun? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
The
that.
nun.
One more
The
time.
nun.
In the nun. The
The
nun.
what? I'm just kidding. The nun and the nun.
The nun.
If that's my case,
Um,
I'm changing my answer. I'm gonna speed up. I'm not slowing down.
Yeah, we're going full speed ahead.
This is another good question. How long would you last
Yes,
in
thank
a
you.
zombie apocalypse?
Remember.
What? A zombie in a zombie apocalypse.
Whoa. Okay. Listen, I have thought about this. Genuinely, truly, deeply. Okay? I wouldn't. I just wouldn't, you know? I just wouldn't. Because listen, here's the thing. You know, have you guys seen
You are a
Zombieland 2?
mall goth. I feel like you would.
I'm
Yeah.
resourceful. I'm super resourceful. Okay, maybe I would, but in Zombieland 2, do you know the girl who's like literally the embodiment of slay? Zoe Dutch plays her, and she's like
Yeah.
just like this little valley girl, and she's that would be me. That's me as heck.
I
as
feel like
frick.
the funny part is it sounded like you said ass frick.
Ass frick. Oh, ass frick. That's what I would say in the zombie apocalypse. If the zombie apocalypse happens.
I feel like
That'd be a good
could
way to
see
survive.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like you would survive forever because you would unintentionally become like the queen of a compound. Like people would just be like, we're hanging out with Valley and she's in charge. And you would like, we'd come in. It would be like, people would come to like live in the compound and they'd be like, oh, you have to meet our boss lady. She's so bossy and big lady boss.
Yeah.
And they're like all nervous, like, oh, here we go, we gotta go meet Valley, she's the boss of this compound. And then you're just like in there, like your feet up on a wall, like, what do you do? What do you want? Oh, you want to just live here? Okay. And like that's
whatever.
the extent of the compound. Like, do you have any French fries? Like, we're playing bingo in an hour. Like, it would be so dramatic building up to it, and then it just like so casual once you got inside. It's like this huge military fortress base, and you're in charge of all of it. And
I'm wearing
just
fuzzy slippers and my Playboy sweatshirt, and I'm like, what's up? What are
And
you
you have a
doing?
cult following. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And people, like, so as you're meeting with the new people, somebody comes in and they're like, our scouts just got hit at the turret base in this place, and you're like, oh,
right,
not a sleigh.
Not a sleigh.
Not slay.
So unslay.
What a bummer. Like, okay, I guess we're playing checkers now. Like,
Is that a basketball?
So
we could play horse. I don't know.
So unintentionally, boss. It's
oh
so
my god,
funny.
the base could be called Slaymania. I'm just saying. I'm just
It
slaying.
makes it
I'm just
so.
slaying.
I'm just slaying.
I'm just slaying.
Bitch, that's good.
Okay, I lied. This is kind of a hard hitter question.
Okay.
But I don't want to hype it up too much. But it is, who was your favorite teacher in school, and how did they impact you?
I actually talked about this yesterday. My favorite teacher in school was Mr. Hoffman, and he was like the first, I don't know if I can say this, non-conservative person I ever met in like the church scene, and I was very young. So like this was like when Obama ran for the first time. Like I was young. So we like I remember so clearly the day we were like all talking about politics or something because like the election was going on, and we were like, Mr. Hoffman, what are you? And he was like, I'm liberal. And I was like, this word is so tantalizing. What does it mean?
It tastes good in my mouth.
So I don't know. He was.
It's like the opposite of moist. Like instead of making you cringe, you're like, ooh, liberal.
No, he was so great too. Like a lot of my teachers genuinely, like I said earlier, I felt like I was born to be a black sheep in these communities, you know? Like it was never meant to be for me, you know? So a lot of my teachers hated me, like absolutely hated me. And it was a private school, so like they had every right to hate me and do something about it too. So it was horrible, horrendous, horrible.
Private school teachers can get away with murder.
Oh my god, it's wild. So yeah. So you get it.
Boarding school.
Oh, I went to boarding school.
Where?
No, in Colorado.
Oh, mine was.
Oh,
I didn't
sorry.
think that they had boarding schools in America.
That's how I met
Yeah,
Arturo. Arturo was a boarding student from Venezuela.
Cute.
His parents shipped him over here.
Dude, that's how I met my friend Malva.
Decide if that's
from Germany.
good or not.
My roommate was from China. She was cool. I like her.
Malva was my sweet mate, and everyone was so mean to Malva because Malva didn't shave. And I was like, who the frick cares? Who the frick cares? She's cool, and she sings good, so, like, be nice. I don't know. Jerks.
Yeah,
anyways,
gross.
So, Queenie, please. She was
Interview
sick.
people to join your zombie apocalypse compound. Do you sing good? You don't shave? That's
good?
fine. That's fine.
Oh my god, no!
You
It
haven't
could
showered in the last 10 years?
Wait.
That's fine.
It's the voice. Someone comes on and they sing good, and I'm like, "You're home with me." That was a sleigh.
All of the electricity in the compound is going to your spinning chair. And
No. It's just my loyal sidekicks or whatever. I don't know. People that live
Move
there
you.
that just like physically move me because I'm in like one of those folding metal chairs. You know what I mean?
It's a camping chair on a lazy Susan.
It makes that horrendous. It makes that horrendous noise of just like. I tried to make it with my catnip and it didn't work.
This wasn't in school, but I remember a Sunday school teacher that I had when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how old I was, but like growing up Mormon, like there was a huge pressure. Everybody was like, you had to wear white shirts, and if you couldn't, then you couldn't like participate and do things and whatever. But like that's not written anywhere. It was just a lot of people, you know, trying to like bring about more like Puritan culture into a church that already had it. And he was like the first person that like he would still wear like a suit, but would wear like different color like button-up shirts underneath it and like fancy ties or bow ties or whatever. And I remember him like anytime somebody challenged him on it of like, why aren't you wearing a white shirt? You can't pass the sacrament if you don't wear a white shirt. He would say like, where's that written? Like, show me where it's written. Show me where it says it can't do that. Because it's not anywhere. It's nowhere, you know? And it was like, he was the first person that really started to push back. Like, still enjoyed going to church, but like pushed back on like the harmful side of going to church.
Yeah.
But
dude.
Yeah, it's cool.
So sometimes that's all we needed, you know, is to see somebody like, oh, you're allowed to question that. You're allowed to do that. And that's why Mr. Hoffman was so important to me, because he like, you could tell that he was kind of over all the shit, and he was like one of the first teachers to be like kind to me. And like he was funny too. He was one of those teachers that was just like unreasonably funny, and he was a history teacher, so he like I know way too much about the Civil War now because of him. So thanks a lot, Mr. Hoffman.
But also thanks a lot, Mr. Hoffman.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. It's that, and then my Spanish teacher in high school, Mr. Marin, he was so rude. I loved him so much. It's a bitch for real. But like in the hilarious way, you know. And if he liked you, then like if you could get past like the exterior, because he was one of those teachers that would just like tease you all the time. If you could get past it and like kind of see that that was just like his way of like bonding with you in a weird way, he was just the best. And he was so sweet too. So I have 2 teachers that showed me kindness, the only ones, and they
Jeez.
stick with me all the
I
time.
love that it's those little moments too that they don't realize, like,
Yeah,
how impactful they're being. Like
exactly.
hearing somebody talk about like their shirt color, like it's so crazy that like a little moment like that like really sticks with you.
Mhm,
Yeah. Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure. Marv, do you have a teacher that stood out to you?
So boarding school is like private school on crack. So we were half boarding, half dorm students. So 50% of the students were like from the area, and then 50% of the students were dorm students, and those dorm students were 50-50 international and 50-50 just from different states around the country. So private school girls are mean. Hi baby. Oh my
Oh, big
god.
stretch.
Sorry,
Oh,
she's
big
so cute.
stretch.
She's not cute all the
So
time. I have to soak it up.
cute.
So, as I was probably like noticeably different from the other girls at school. One, I was poor, on hella financial aid. Even with uniforms, people can always tell I had like no name brand shoes, no like name brand accessories, no name brand backpacks, bags, earrings, like all that everybody else is wearing.
It probably also set you apart that you were showing up to class in drag,
Yeah, full double stack wigs and
Oh yeah.
paper eyelashes.
Lashes. Yeah.
Heck, yeah.
But I think because I was just visibly different, visibly queer, visibly liberal in a southern Republican town with mean rich girls, I think teachers liked me because they could relate to me of like I was also pretty funny in high school, probably funnier than I am now. So teachers like I used to babysit everybody's kids because all of the teachers lived on campus. Like I was always like the go-to babysitter for teachers because I wasn't a shit. I wasn't a shithead. So I really liked my teachers. I enjoyed them. Some of them were invited to my wedding and came, and still keep in touch with some of them. But then I also lived with some who were just monsters.
Yeah.
Especially in private school, teachers can just get away with
Yeah.
murder.
Yeah, private school is a different beast.
Yeah.
Especially a boarding one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it was hard when I would live on campus. Like I was a day student, but I had I was a prefect, like Harry Potter. So I had a room and a roommate on campus without having to pay the boarding student prices. So some of the staff members are monsters, and they get away with murder because it's not the public school system. They kind of get to adhere to different rules. One of them like tried to like out me. Private school's wild. I'm so glad we're not in high school anymore.
Oh my
But I had
gosh.
a lot of teachers that were kind to me, and I still keep in touch to this day. So
Okay, if you had to delete all but 3 apps on your smartphone, which ones would you keep? This might be a debuter. I don't think we've asked this one before.
This is a good one.
Oh, yeah, so good. I'd keep okay. O'Reilly's. I would keep Instagram. Sorry. I would keep
O'Reilly's
TikTok.
Instagram. Just kidding.
O'Reilly's Instagram. TikTok. Because what am I supposed to do? Well, oh god, that's hard because like you could watch reels on Instagram, but they're not as good as TikTok. You know?
You get them
But
months
like
later.
yeah. So I definitely want to keep because professionally I'm an interior designer, so it's like I really like furniture, so I need Pinterest. Obviously.
100%.
Oh goodness gracious.
This might be one of our harder questions, Queenie.
This is a hard hitter.
It
Why
is
didn't
a
you
hard
warn
question.
me? Why didn't you warn
Sorry.
me? Okay.
I literally sent you the whole list of questions.
I didn't look at them because
I didn't look at them.
I didn't look at them either. I never look at them.
I don't want to sound disingenuous. That's just my thing. Because I swear to God, if I had read those questions, I would have been like, "Hello." This is super proper me. I rehearsed. You can tell.
Does iMessage count? Like, would I have to
Oh
keep
yeah, does it? Or
text?
can I have like? Is it the apps that you download on your phone after you get it new?
You got to come up with the rules, Queenie. We need guidance.
You have to. You can't just say that to me and then make me not. No, I don't know.
I think Messenger
Like, do I keep
counts.
FaceTime and Messenger?
Those. I think of like social media accounts or social media apps.
Okay.
And like
okay,
Messenger
so
to me is incled in Facebook because
Because
you
if
can
that
get to
wasn't-
Messenger.
If that wasn't the
Through
case, I'd have to keep
Facebook.
Calculator because I use my calculator app so much. Calculator would have to be in my 3 if that was not the case.
Google Maps would have to be in my 3.
We're all game. We can't do math. Are you kidding me? Not asking a homophobic question.
So good at math.
I would
but
have
no,
to
I
keep
would
my
keep
Google Maps.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So true.
But like Apple comes with maps, so
if you use Apple Maps, I don't trust you.
But if it's like what you use to oh gosh, okay, hold on. Okay, so I would keep Instagram. I would Spotify and Pinterest.
Fair.
Valid.
Valid.
The validity is valid. Thank you.
I think I would keep Instagram. Probably
Marv.
I think Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok probably.
I love TikTok because like I haven't seen any Jasper the Doll on Instagram.
I just did a Jasper the Doll TikTok when I was getting out of drag, and now it has
lied to me. That's amazing.
I'm making a video.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was like, I'm making a video.
Can I have a snack?
I didn't even have to change my makeup that much. I literally just took off my cheeks and smeared the lipstick, and I looked like Jasper. Okay.
DoorDash is a good one, but
Uber Eats.
I drive to get my food, baby. I'm not paying that extra fee.
Oh. You know what I'm slaying.
I'll be damned. All right, I think I have mine.
Okay.
TikTok.
Okay.
Bump Instagram. Don't need it. Twitter. Need. And then I'd have to keep WhatsApp just because I have a group of friends that will not move to Discord, and I love them too much to not communicate with them, so I'd have to keep WhatsApp.
You better tag them in this video because that is some true dedication.
Listen. I know Alyssa listens to this.
Yeah,
she comments.
Alyssa, she comments. Shout out to Alyssa. What up, Alyssa?
Shout out. Nice to meet
Alyssa,
you.
do you
My
like
name's Valley.
Oh yeah.
Do that again.
Biggs.
Do that
Were
again.
you mowing your lawn?
Yeah. I was watering. I was watering my computer. Do it again.
I was flooding my basement.
You were doing what now?
Speaking of, one of my pipes burst again in my garage yesterday.
No!
Marv is so funny. Like, we've done this podcast for a few months now. My favorite thing about Marv is that, like, I'll text her and be like, hey, are you good to do the podcast?
If
and
you would have texted me today, I would have forgot.
She'll literally be like, oh yeah, I'll be ready. And then, like, we get into the podcast or we'll get into a call, and she's like, today's been the worst day of my life. Like, my house is falling apart. Work has been terrible. I literally have been crying all day. And then we get into the podcast, and she's just like, let's go.
And then I'm like, we ball.
I literally got done crying in the shower when you texted me, reminded me about the podcast. And Robbie is my witness because I was on a call with Robbie, and I was like explaining my shower cries to him, like I have to you before. And I was like, oh God, Queenie just texted me. I need to like get back into it. I'm ready. But yeah, I cry in the shower. That's my favorite place to cry.
Mine too. The tears don't feel as cold when they cry.
Yeah.
I'm a bed crier. I'm a cry to myself to sleep kind of girl.
You know what? I literally sobbed myself into an oblivion the other day because I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once or whatever. That movie was gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Gut-wrenching. I think the part where he's like, please, be kind. I'm thinking about it right now.
Bitch, you better not.
My friend Edward saw that movie. And this is not an exaggeration, 6 times in theaters. Venmo'd me to go see it in theaters when it came out because he loved it.
That's how I feel. That's how
Mm-hmm.
strongly I feel about it. I texted my boyfriend. I was like, babe, I just threw up from crying so hard. I love you. We're watching this together. And he was like, that doesn't sound like something I want to watch. And I'm like, yeah, but it is though, and I've decided that it is. So you're watching it with me. It's beautiful.
Valley texted me and I said, I've been avoiding that movie like the plague because I don't like stuff like that.
You would cry,
mind.
Queenie, especially as like a queer woman. Like something about the storyline in there is like so authentically like
I
the
want to watch
experience.
it so bad, but I feel like it would just fuck with me so much that
you know what? Let's watch it together. We'll hold hands. We'll maybe
it's one
cuddle,
of those movies that does change your perspective as like a person.
Yeah. It actually kind of like hits on like people sometimes, like speaking of parents, kind of hurt you unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying. And it's oh man.
I've been doing this really healthy thing recently, where if I start to feel like anxiety or emotions, I will take an edible and then I'm like, let's fucking vibe.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm very well adjusted.
Love
I love that.
You know why I got really high the other day? This is the same day my pipe burst. You ready for this? I tweeted about it. I don't know if you saw it. So I have the birth control rod in my arm. Not anymore.
How do you like it?
So this is my 3rd one. So like they last 3 years, and you don't have to worry about taking the pill or anything. I liked it. Some people can't handle it. Mine was fine, so I've like gotten it renewed. I got it renewed in November, and like I've noticed like you bruise up a lot because they like pierce it kind of into you, and they have to cut the old one out and stuff. But I noticed this one was like way closer to like my skin than like it was like inside of me. And so like I called and made an appointment last week to get it checked on because like I could still see the outline of the rod, and that's not normal. And I forgot my appointment and didn't go. So the day my pipe burst, I like looked down and the rod is sticking out of my arm. Like I can see the rod that's supposed to be in my skin. And I like looked down after like cleaning up my garage, and I was like, oh my God, the pipe in my arm just burst. And so I had to go get it removed yesterday before I got infected.
The pipe in my arm just burst.
That is so nuts, man.
You're like in your flooded basement, and you're like, I guess it's a day for pipes.
Like, pipe nerd.
I've been going through it. I don't have any makeup on. My hair is not done. Just know that Marv's going through hard times over here in Alabama.
What old person things do you do?
Oh, all of them. I wake up in the morning and I go, oh, my back, you know? And then like sometimes I drive really bad in like a
just like in the median.
Yeah.
Through the flowers.
I have reading glasses.
What the fuck's wrong with having glasses?
Listen, man, I don't know how to tell you.
What time do you eat dinner?
You know what's funny? Okay, listen. I wake up at 6 a.m. That's an old person thing. I eat dinner at 5. And it's my favorite. And it's not dinner, it's supper.
That's supper.
It's supper. My favorite food is toast. I feel like that's an old person thing.
Yeah, so true. Yeah. How do you have your toast? This is an intimate question.
No, seriously, because so you know how smell is like the most nostalgic thing or whatever, you know, it produces a lot of nostalgia. My mima would have sourdough toast with and like coffee every morning. So like that is like the best ever smell ever. That's like my favorite smell in the world is sourdough toast and like just some shitty black coffee. So now I eat sourdough toast, but I put goat cheese on it. Because it's
Yum.
delicious.
I love
so
goat
good.
cheese.
Me
Is it
too.
honey?
I just love cheese. You wait, what?
Honey on the goat cheese.
Oh, I haven't tried it. I need to.
You
Ooh,
do a
hot
spicy honey.
Hot,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. See,
That's
we
what
have
I put
like
on
the
my
mind
goat
of like a
cheese.
mastermind.
But
Yeah,
I've never
but
put it on
I
sourdough.
drink my
That's
coffee.
genius.
I drink my coffee a little different. You know, my Mima had it black and like actual coffee, and I have espresso, so I have like lattes and stuff. So the coffee doesn't smell the same, but the toast always smells the same, and it always makes me happy. So I love mornings because I get to smell toast, and not in a stroke kind of way. So you know, pretty sick.
Sick. Yeah. Marv
Queenie,
answered that question.
Do you remember what mine is?
I remember calling you out for your cardigans.
Well,
And
just wait, I'm wearing a cardigan, but I also forgot I have my chair cardigan right here. I have 2 cardigans in my office right now. I'm always, and it's like the same color as the one I'm wearing. I just have cardigans on cardigans.
the funniest part to me was that wasn't your answer. I was like, I think you, I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something, and then I was like, it's funny that you said all of that and then didn't mention the fact that you're wearing a cardigan. And then you were like, yeah, actually, I do have cardigans everywhere. I have one in my car, one on my chair, one on my work desk, one at my door, several in my closet. And I was like, let's see.
That's incredible, though. Wait, no, because that's incredible.
I'm always in a cardigan.
If I had multiple cardigans, I feel like I would be a lot more happy. You know? Sorry, I was just thinking of other old people things I do. I take fish oil.
Oh, where do you put
Yeah.
it?
It's a pill.
Would you like to know?
What are you doing after this, bestie? My wife?
Going thrifting?
Big
Yeah, thrifting.
antiquing.
Yeah. Maybe kissing my wife? I don't know.
Ooh! That sounds fun. That sounds
I know.
nice.
I'll pick you up a cardigan.
Big sleigh. Can it be any color but orange?
Yeah,
I don't
of
want
course.
my other future wives to get offended.
I don't want, because like the sanctity of wifedom is like very dependent on like how the other wives interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
So I can't be upsetting other wives. That's horrible.
And if you're peacocking,
Jeez.
you gotta know your audience.
Exactly. If we're what? Just kidding.
Peacocking.
Valley has a piss kink.
So...
And that was Twitchy. Thank you so much for listening today. VallyCatt, where can people find you on socials?
That's a big rumor that goes around Twitch all the time, and it's so funny. We can cut it if you don't want it, but
No, it's actually, please
keep
keep it because that's hilarious.
That might be the name of the episode.
Valley goes, piss cocking?
Pee? You said pee?
But I saw this new trending thing on TikTok where it was the 2 girls that were making fun of a like man podcast, and they were like, you want to know if you save $1 every day after a year, do you know how much money you have? You have $30,000. And I think that we should do just some sound clips like that for streaming.
Oh, yeah.
So if we want to, like,
if you're letting other people use their emotes in your own chat, that's self-promotion and you need to ban them.
Absolutely. Bannable offense, 100%. And honestly, the only way that you can grow on Twitch these days, people like to say, diversify your content, post on other platforms. No, that's not how you do it. You need to be streaming 24 days, 24 hours a day,
24
days a week. Just never stop. Like, people who are really hustling, never
yeah.
stop.
It's all about the hustle. Yeah, it really is. It is. I'm so sorry.
Valley, do you have any super good advice for new streamers?
All I gotta say, man, is that
honestly,
honestly, so hard.
If you really want to make a difference on this platform, on Twitch, you gotta be a titty streamer, and don't let these women with their real tits. Don't let them fool you. They're breastplates. This is a silicone breastplate.
You just
get a silicone breastplate and you play your Valorant.
Yeah, the problem with Twitch is that you know, us dudes, we have such a hard time making it, you know? We have such a hard time making it. And when, you know, there's other people, I'm not gonna name names, but who have hot tubs and they have things attached to their chest. I can't even say the word, honestly. I can't because oh no, I'm gonna get banned. It's offensive. Everything's offensive. So, you know, I don't know, we really got to break through and, you know, find our niche because it's so hard. And you know what? I really respect you guys for like really.
Yeah.
I think too, if you have somebody come into your stream and they're there for more than 15 minutes and don't sub, ban them.
Ban them.
This isn't a free ticket event.
You need to
There's literally no reason for them to be there.
That's self-promotion.
You need to train your audience that they need to sub. So if people aren't subbed, if they chat, they don't have a sub badge, ban them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't want in lone lurkers either. You see them in your list and they're not saying anything.
Call out the lurkers.
You call them out, and if they don't respond with 100 bits or more, ban them. They should be paying you for your time.
Yeah, you work so hard, you hustle so hard. You're married to the grind for them to do what? Nothing? Nothing?
Yeah.
I hate it here.
And it's we don't have the opportunity to like do our makeup and like look better. Like this is just us. You know, like we really have to
Yeah. And like you shouldn't have to decorate your background to get attention. You should be able to just stream without your camera. No camera. Don't even talk to chat. Like you should just be able to play a video game and
your personality should be enough.
In the video game, you need to tell those people that they're dog shit in the game. Yeah. Your community needs to know where you draw the line with people who play like shit.
Boundaries.
Yeah. And if you're not yelling, you gotta yell at your teammates to show your passion for the game.
Screaming is what people take seriously. That's what I'm saying. If you scream, people will listen.
If you're not
you scream because then your voice. You gotta scream because then your voice is louder, man.
Evolutionarily,
microphone.
Is that a word? Evolutionarily, men should just be streamers. I'm sorry, I said men.
Trigger warning, man.
This was hard. This is giving me the ick.
This is giving me the ick. I don't even know what to do.
You know, if you sub to yourself every day, then after a month of streaming, after 30 days of streaming, you'd have a level 5 hype train.
You know what? If you, instead of going to Starbucks and getting your fruity little coffees, you know, and doing all the little things and those little teas and whatnot, then perhaps, maybe, and instead of that, you bought this energy drink that I'm sponsored with, maybe you would have money. Maybe instead of getting Starbucks every day and buying this energy drink that I use every day, code Valley for 10% off. Maybe.
Use my affiliate link below.
You know what's a great way to grow is follow for follow.
No. Thank you so much, Valley, for being on the pod with us. This was so fun.
I had the best time. Thank you for having me.
Of course, my wife. Well, we will definitely have your socials tagged down below, but let us know where you would like people to follow you.
Instagram is probably the best place you can keep up with me. It's VallyCatt with 2 T's. VallyCatt. 2 T's. 2 T's.
Titties?
TTs.
TTs?
We said the same thing.
Well, thank you so much again for having us on the podcast. And y'all, this has been Twitchy. This is the podcast where we talk about streamer things, but we all have ADHD. So sometimes we talk about bro culture and fish oil and being a dumb baby mama in the zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Slaymania.
Slaymania. You know what I'm saying?
If you've made it this far into the podcast, please comment down below Slaymania and we'll like it.